Well, I want to start this video by saying hello and welcome to my channel. Welcome here. If you are new here, this is kind of a heavy video for you to be welcomed to my channel with. This is weird and I don't even know how to go about this. This is the hardest video I'm gonna have to make on this channel, probably, or it's the hardest one I've had to make. And I knew from the start of my channel that I would have to make this video one day, and I knew that it was something I wanted to do one day, was make this video, because the only thing I've ever wanted from this channel, and I've said this before, is to help people and to make people feel like they're not alone, and to just be honest about the things that I've gone through, the things I do go through. But I realized I'm not being honest. I've had this secret, I guess, I don't even know. The whole time I've had my YouTube channel, I haven't talked about this. I've probably, said things that have probably made you think that I have this or whatever, and I'm very vocal about like body positivity and confidence and stuff, especially on Instagram. I make like a lot of posts about it and stories about it, but I've never like come out and shared why I'm so passionate about it or shared my story with it. I'm so uncomfortable right now. I'm literally like playing with my sleeves. Oh my god. See, this is like, it's just a hard video to make, and it's gonna be a hard video to make, and it's gonna be a hard video to upload, and I don't even know if I'm gonna upload this video right now. But I'm home alone right now, so I figured it's a good time to just talk and get this video out of the way for me, because it's one that I honestly have dreaded for a long time now. Before we start, I do want to say a quick little trigger warning. I am talking about some pretty serious things in this video. I'm probably going to go into detail in this video about eating disorders. So if this is something that is going to trigger you by me talking about it, I suggest that you click off of the video. But if not, then I'm very glad that you are here today, and I thank you for listening to this. This video is going to be the story of my eating disorder, and I'm trying to say this confidently, and I'm trying not to feel embarrassed or awkward right now, but I do, and it's something that we're just gonna have to deal with, get through. It's just gonna be a hard video, but we're moving on from that. I literally have a blanket right now just so I feel like comfortable. I don't even know, like sometimes if I feel anxious I just have to like be cozy, and that's why I'm wearing like a little t-shirt. Anyway, I'm just gonna start at the beginning. This story is probably gonna be a little all over the place just because it's my life, and I don't remember everything, every exact moment, everything clearly. I don't remember, like, it's just been for so many years that I don't remember every single detail. So bear with me on that, but I'm gonna do the best that I can to recall everything. Freshman year of high school, well, actually towards like the end of 8th grade, but mostly the beginning of freshman year, I started to get really bad acne. I've talked about this a million times on my channel before, but I got really bad acne, and it just made me so insecure about myself. It was new to me, and I was just going into high school. Like, I had braces and everything, and now I had acne, and it just made me feel so insecure so fast. It was really sudden. It like wasn't really gradual. I just kind of got acne really, really fast. It's already such a big adjustment to go into high school and like find your place and like make friends and all of it. Just high school can be scary in the beginning. It's the reality. But on top of that, I started getting acne, and I just started feeling really, really insecure with my appearance. I can remember that I was so insecure about my acne that when the teachers at school would open the blinds in the classroom, I would be so nervous and insecure because I knew that like the sunlight was going to make everybody see my face, and I wanted to be in darkness. Like when the teachers would close the blinds for a movie that we would watch or something, I would be so happy. I'd be like, oh my god, I can finally just sit back and relax. Like, no one's looking at my acne. I don't have to feel embarrassed right now. And then they would open the blinds, and I would like literally panic. And looking back on that, it's sad, because it's just sad. It's just sad to think of yourself, as insecure like that. It's just not something that you want to remember, or it's not something that it just makes you sad, I guess. It makes me sad to think that. So yeah, I just always wanted to be like in the dark. Like, I can remember my friends would come over. I would have my room like pitch black. Like literally I would have like a lamp, and they would always say like, why do you want to be in the, like, why is your room so dark? They would just like laugh with me about it, and I would be like, oh, I just love the dark. But really, it was because I didn't want anyone to see my acne, and I didn't want it to look like super red in the light. And slowly I started just being really insecure overall, you know, about my appearance. And it started with my acne, but then it led into my body, and I just felt insecure in my own skin, I guess. And it's really hard to pinpoint exactly like when this started or how this started for me, because I don't know exactly. So that I can't exactly share with you, because I really don't know. I don't really know what triggered this for me. I don't know. Over my freshman year of school, I started just thinking about what I was eating and, you know, worrying about the way I looked, and just worrying about like what I was putting into my body, how it was gonna affect the way I looked, or like, is it gonna make me gain weight or whatever. It was a long time ago now, like 6 years ago. I don't know. I'm 20 now, so almost 21. So at this point I was 15. I started like kind of restricting what I was eating. Not really. A little bit, yes. Like I started being just very conscious about it and thinking about it so much. And I kind of like developed this obsession around food and like my body, and I developed an eating disorder. But sophomore year came about, and I was dating this boy. We'll just call him Mark. I was dating Mark, and we dated for a while, like a year and a half or something. Basically, he was the only person who knew about this. I had only told him. Literally didn't tell my parents. None of my friends knew about it. I only told him because I was only comfortable. I wasn't comfortable telling anybody about it, not even him, but he was my boyfriend, so I told him, and I felt comfortable eventually talking about it with him. I remember that my freshman year, actually, we had to do this project in our English class. You had to pick a topic that you had to do research about. I don't remember like the, you know, criteria or whatever the heck it was, but I remember we had to pick a topic. And I think a lot of people chose certain mental health disorders, and I chose eating disorders. And I chose this because I thought I had one. I thought, you know, I was almost positive that this was something that I probably had. When I was doing the research, I was like, okay, everything that's said here matches what's going on with me. When I kind of just became obsessed with it. Like I was constantly doing research about it, constantly watching YouTube videos about it. Literally my search history would be so many videos on eating disorders, and I would always clear my search history because I was so scared that somehow somebody was going to see my search history and be like, what the heck? I just needed to feel like I wasn't alone and I wasn't crazy, and like I just felt weird. Like I just felt this wasn't really talked about back then. It's very, I feel like people are very vocal about it now on social media and stuff, but back then, like, I didn't really use Instagram like I do now and like social media, and it wasn't as easy to find stuff about it. So I was just like, what is going on? But my sophomore year, it started getting worse. I started developing pretty bad habits with it, where I would, I'm gonna go into a little bit of detail here. I would eat and throw up, so I had developed bulimia. I would, you know, eat food. I wasn't like binge eating. I wasn't like eating excessive amounts and then throwing up. I would just eat and then, sorry, if this is gross or whatever, but I'm just being honest. I started developing really bad anxiety because I think a lot of my anxiety stemmed from the fact that I was hiding this from everybody. The only person that knew about it was Mark, and my parents didn't know, my friends didn't know. So I think like that caused a lot of anxiety for me, but I just had anxiety about pretty much everything, and I was constantly worried about my appearance, and every single moment of my life was consumed by worrying about what I looked like. And the funniest, not funny, but the funny thing about my eating disorder, I never really cared it wasn't about other people. Like for me, it wasn't like, oh, do I look fat or do I look a certain way and like people are gonna judge me or not like me because of it. It was never, sorry guys, my camera died, so I had to go plug that in. But as I was saying, for me, it was never about what other people thought or like their opinions or like being worried about that. It was always just me being nervous like about what I thought, like me being uncomfortable in my skin. As I was saying, my sophomore year, things started to get pretty rough. My boyfriend at the time broke up with me. And that kind of just threw me for a loop. I was really upset about it and devastated and heartbroken, whatever. So that kind of started things to get even worse, because when we broke up, I was barely eating anything because I was just like sad. So I was barely eating, and then as I started to get like happier and start to get over the breakup, I just kind of went along with the way of not eating a lot and, you know, just going along with that bad habit of like starving myself and restricting what I was eating. My junior year of high school, things got really bad, and this is actually when I started to go to therapy. So I started to go to therapy, and I told my parents I wanted to go to therapy for anxiety because I did have really bad anxiety. But mostly the real reason I wanted to go was for my eating disorder. I knew I needed help, but I wasn't ready to tell my parents about it. Actually, at the time, I thought in my head that I was never going to tell them about it. I thought I was never going to tell anybody else about it. So I was kind of just like hoping I could go to a therapist and like figure it out, work through it, and move on. So I went to a therapist, and I ended up having to go through like four different therapists. I can't exactly remember. I had to go through like three or four different therapists until I could find the right one. I actually do have a whole video about this if you do want to check that out. But I couldn't find the right one that I worked well with or I felt comfortable with, but I ended up finding the right therapist for me, and that's the therapist I still have to this very day. I told her everything about it, and I told her, you know, I think I have an eating disorder, or I know I have an eating disorder. I just started talking about it, and a couple months in, me and my therapist decided that we wanted to bring my parents in to a session and tell them about my eating disorder. We just decided, like, it was too much of a secret for me. It was like causing me so much anxiety, and I needed help. I needed help from my parents. I needed all the support that I could get because it was bad. You know, I was doing all these behaviors and habits, and it was really not good, and I was in a really, really bad place in my head, and I was feeling really depressed, so I needed help. That's what it came down to. So we decided that we were going to bring my parents in to a session. So it was like a random Wednesday that I was in the office, and we decided, okay, next Wednesday, we're going to bring in your parents or my mom. I can't remember exactly how it went. I was really anxious. Like the thought of it made me so nervous because I was just embarrassed. It wasn't something commonly talked about at this time. At this time, I think I was like 16. So it was just, I just felt weird and I felt insecure about it. I just didn't want there to be something wrong with me, and I didn't want to admit it. But I went home that night, and I think I went to my friend's house or something, and I texted my mom and I said, hey, can I talk to you tonight when I get home? I have something I want to talk to you about. I texted her, and she was like, yeah, of course. So I got home that night from wherever I was, and I brought my mom upstairs to my room, sat her down, and we were sitting on my bed, and I said, there's something like really serious that I need to talk to you about, and I am uncomfortable, like I couldn't get the words out. And I said, you probably know about this. In the back of your mind, you probably know about this, because my mom, I think, if I can remember correctly, like my mom would notice little things, like I wasn't eating my full lunches. I would come home and like my sandwich would still be in my bag, and she would be like, why are you not eating your sandwich? So I said, you probably know about this. You just have to think. And I didn't want to say the words. I didn't want to say I have an eating disorder because I was embarrassed. And she said it. She said, do you have an eating disorder? And I said, yes. And I cried, and you know, we talked about it. It felt like this huge giant weight lifted off of my shoulders. It was such a long time that I hadn't told anyone. 3 years I hadn't told anyone. This was my junior year that I finally told my mom. So that's like 3 years of barely anyone knowing, one person knowing. Or actually, at this point, I had a second boyfriend. He knew about it. So 2 people in my life knew about this, and the first person wasn't even in my life anymore. So it felt like this giant weight lifted off my shoulders, and I felt uncomfortable, yes, but I felt like I can finally move forward, and I can finally get help that I need, and we can figure this out, and I'm gonna be okay. My mom ended up telling my dad about it the next day, and my dad texted me this really nice text and saying, you know, we're here for you, and we'll do whatever it takes to get you the help, and we'll figure it out, and you'll be okay. So that just felt really good, you know, knowing that my parents like had my back. And I already knew that about my parents. They're very supportive in everything that I do, but I was uncomfortable talking about it, and it was really, really hard for me, just like it is now to talk about it. It was hard for me. So just knowing that people knew, that the most important people in my life now knew about it, so I felt good. So I continued going to therapy, and I continued working through it, and you know, it wasn't really getting any better. I would have really good days and I would have really bad days, and that's still true to this day. My therapist and I decided I needed more help than just therapy, so I ended up going to this outpatient program at this center. It's basically this center for eating disorders, and I would go there every single day during the week. I think maybe it was like 3 or 4 days during the week. I can't remember exactly. After school, every day for a couple hours, like 3 or 4 hours. It was like group therapy, but it was, you know, kind of like, it was outpatient, so I wasn't living there, but a lot of my time was spent here. I would go after school at like 3 o'clock, and we would have to bring a snack, and we would have to all eat as a group, eat the snack as a group, and we would have to pretty much eat whatever was in front of us. So whatever we packed for snack that day, we had to eat it, because they were, you know, monitoring what we were eating, making sure we're getting enough. And after we would eat, if we had to go to the bathroom, they would have to come with us to the bathroom and stand right outside the door, which is very uncomfortable. I'm not gonna lie, it's very uncomfortable having somebody monitoring you in the bathroom, but they had to make sure we weren't throwing up or doing whatever in the bathroom and keeping our food in our system. So after we would eat a snack, we would have therapy as a group and, you know, just talk about it, help each other. And then after that, we would have like 2 hours of therapy, I think, and then we would have dinner. So our parents would come in for dinner, and we would all eat dinner as a group, and we would play games and just basically work through it and eat as a group and eat everything in front of us. And yeah, it was a lot. It was hard. And I remember, so every single day that I would go there, I'd have to have my vitals taken, my weight taken. Okay, I just took a break because I needed lunch, and then I went for a drive, got myself a Starbucks, and drove around listening to motivational music. This is a hard video to film, so it's required a couple breaks just because it's a lot, but I'm feeling rejuvenated, so let's get back in the story. So every single time I went to this program, every single day I had to get my vitals taken and my weight taken. So there was this one day where it was a Monday or a Tuesday, because I think we skipped Mondays, but it was basically after the weekend, and I got my weight and vitals taken, and I had lost about 4 or 5 pounds in one weekend. You're probably thinking, how is that even possible? And honestly, I have no idea how that's physically even possible. I didn't know that that was even possible, but I had lost, you know, quite a bit of weight in such a short amount of time. For the doctors, I think, like the people working there, I think it was very concerning, but for me, because of my eating disorder, my brain was like, yes, like, when you have an eating disorder, your eating disorder makes you think that losing weight or seeing some type of result is a good thing, when it's not a good thing, when it's not healthy to lose 5 pounds in a weekend. So in my head, I'm excited because of my eating disorder telling me that I did something good, even though I knew that that was dangerous. So on the outside, I was trying to act like I was nervous and upset, but on the inside, I was really happy. So it's really messed up, the things that it makes you think. It's just messed up. You know, this program was not for me because it was very based around your family and talking things out with your family or whoever you're close to, like your guardian or whoever. I am the type of person that likes to work through things on my own, and talking about things just makes me like talking about things with people I'm close to makes me uncomfortable. And talking about myself like that and talking about something that I'm ashamed of just made me uncomfortable, and I just knew that it wasn't working for me. It was almost making it worse because I was so focused on my eating disorder, because I was in this program that I was constantly being watched for what I'm eating or what I'm doing in the bathroom, or I was constantly talking about this eating disorder. I didn't have a moment to breathe. So it was almost as if it made it worse for me, because I was so wrapped up in it 24/7. Like I would go to school and then I would come home and I would go to this program, and it was just constant. Like I never felt like I had a break from my brain. I ended up leaving the program, and honestly that was the right choice for me. I did enjoy this program. I made some friends in there and felt really nice to connect to other people who have eating disorders, and I just felt like I finally could talk to people about this, and I could help people too. Like, we would give each other advice, and it just felt good. But in the long run, it wasn't the best place for me. So I ended up leaving and, you know, just continuing therapy. I'm still in therapy today, and learning how to cope and learning, you know, the right types of habits to form versus the negative habits that are initially harming my body that I was doing, like starving myself or throwing up or, you know, anything like that. And so I just was learning how to cope with it and how to have healthy habits. And it took me a really long time to kind of turn a corner where I felt like I could attack this. So I was really depressed, and I was so done with fighting this battle in my head with this eating disorder. I was so done. And I realized I'm not even working towards helping myself and bettering myself and managing this eating disorder because I'm so depressed. So me and my therapist talked about this obviously all the time, and we decided that I was going to talk to my doctor and talk about the possibility of going on medication. So medication is something that is very controversial, and it's something that I don't love. For me, I'm not saying that medicine is not a good thing for anyone, just for me. I just want to make that clear. For me, I wanted to be able to work through the things going on in my head with my eating disorder and my OCD and my anxiety and my depression on my own. I didn't want the help of medicine. So it took me a couple months to get on board with going on medicine. And I realized, you know what? I need to balance my brain. Like, my brain is off. It's just a chemical imbalance in my head. It doesn't mean there's something wrong with me. And I realized that, and I said, okay, the only way that I can work through this and get better and actually live a happy life is if I go on medicine, figure out the imbalance in my brain with the depression and the anxiety, and then I can work on attacking the eating disorder and working through this and developing better coping mechanisms than going to starving myself or throwing up. I just needed to balance everything out in my head. So I talked to my doctor, and I was diagnosed with an eating disorder. I was diagnosed with anorexia and bulimia. So this is a real diagnosis. I don't want anyone to think that I'm just self-diagnosing myself. I am diagnosed with this, and I think it's very important to get diagnosed if you think you have some type of problem. So I went to the doctor, and I told her, you know, everything, because I don't think at this point I had even told my doctor about my eating disorder. So we figured out like a good, you know, situation for me, good medicine for me. So I ended up going on Prozac, I think this was a while ago. So I ended up going on Prozac for about, I don't know how long I was on it. I want to say probably like 5 or 6 months. I honestly have no idea. I think that it definitely helped me to like balance things out, but it really shut off my emotions, and this is initially why I took myself off of it. It made me feel like I had no emotion. It just made me feel like I couldn't be sad. Like, if something made me sad, like I didn't feel like I could cry. Like, I just felt kind of blocked and blank, and like my head was just like in the clouds on medicine. So I ended up taking myself off of the medicine. I know you're not supposed to do that, but I would barely even took it anyway because I am terrible at taking medicine. I am not on any medicine at all. I used to be on birth control for my acne like years and years ago, but I could never remember to take it. I'm just so lazy when it comes to medicine. I don't know why. I'm just not good at it. Like, even vitamins, I just don't do it. I forget, and then I get off cycle. So I was already like so scattered with taking it. Like, I would take it like every couple days because I would just forget. I know that's so bad for your body, but it's just how it was. So I ended up just taking myself off of it. And this is when things kind of turned a corner, because when I took myself off of it, I don't know, this is kind of just when the turning point happened where I was ready to really put in the work, and I was really ready to just like be happy. Like, I was just done feeling this way and being so sad and having this eating disorder taking over my life and destroying my mental state. So I really started to just put my heart and soul into therapy and working it out and, you know, talking about things, and therapy literally saved me. Like, if I didn't go to therapy, I don't even know where I would be right now. Like, I don't know like how I would be. I don't know. It just helped me so much, and I honestly believe that if you need therapy, then just go. Even if you don't need it, just go. Everybody should just go to therapy. It's so good. It's just the best thing that's ever happened to me. Things didn't just get better from there. Like, things, you know, they get worse before they get better. And that's kind of what happened. Once I started working through it, really working through it and putting in the work and the time into bettering myself, it got worse. It did. Like, My senior year of high school was probably the worst period of my eating disorder than ever before. I started working out my senior year and I became a little bit obsessed with it. I was working out a lot and it was kind of like it just became an obsession because my eating disorder made it that way. Every time I would work out, I wouldn't want to eat anything because I thought that it would ruin my workout or whatever. And that's still a current battle that I do deal with, but I do deal with it and I push through it and I know how to help myself now, but at this point I didn't. I was working out and obsessing over that, and there was a point my senior year of high school where it was so bad that every single meal I had in high school, so every single lunch, every single breakfast, I would go to the bathroom and vomit it from my body. That's the truth. That's what it was. Every single meal. I would go to the cafeteria for lunch, eat my lunch, go back to class, sit there for like 10 minutes and literally like shake in my seat. Like I was so anxious to go to the bathroom. I was like, should I do it? Should I not? I was trying so hard to fight it, but I couldn't. So I would end up just getting up, going to the bathroom, doing the bad habit, and then going back to class every single day. Oh my God, I'm like literally getting emotional. It's just hard to like look back on things like that. I'm sorry, I don't mean to like tear up or anything, but it's hard to like think about, you know, hard times in your life. And at this point, more people knew about it at this point. Like I had told my friends, a couple of my friends, my friend Sarah was very, very helpful to me. She would really try to like help me through it, and in class and stuff, like if she kind of knew like what I was doing, like she would know that if I got up to go to the bathroom after lunch, she knew what I was doing. So she would try to like talk to me sometimes and like get me to stay in the class, or she would literally hold me back sometimes in the bathroom. So yeah, you need support and you need friends like that and you need people like that in your life. So, you know, I'm leaving out so many details, but I'm kind of just giving you guys an overview. But this has been the past like 6 years of my life. So obviously I'm not sharing every single detail. In high school, I had such a hard time in the mornings because picking an outfit for school was like the devil to me. Waking up, picking an outfit for school, I would cry. I would throw things across my room. I would throw like my dresser drawers across my room sometimes. My mom and I would get in screaming matches because she would just be trying to help me and calm me down because she knew that it was so hard for me because I was so insecure about what I was going to wear and what I was going to feel comfortable in. Most of the time I would literally just go to school in a sweatshirt and leggings because I would be so insecure to wear things because I was insecure in my skin. Picking an outfit was like literally the worst thing I could possibly imagine. I was so upset that this is how I was. Like this, I was so upset that this is something that I had to deal with. I'm not making this video today because I'm recovered or because I'm all better now and my eating disorder is gone. I'm not making it because that's not true. I don't even believe in the phrase recovering. It's not that I don't believe in it, but it's just something that doesn't make sense to me because I believe that I'm gonna have this for the rest of my life. I believe that this is something that's in my brain forever, and I'm okay with that. There was a point where I wasn't okay with that, and I would talk about it in therapy, and I'd say like, why the heck do I have to deal with this? Why does this have to be something that I have to have for the rest of my life? Like, why? I don't get it. But now I'm at a point in my life where I'm okay with that, and I'm like, I accept that, and I know that this negative thing, I hate it so much, but it's made me so strong. And I'm the person I am today because I am strong and because I have pushed myself to work through these things to get to a point where I'm okay to talk about it. So that's why I'm making this video. I'm not making it because I'm recovered or I'm all better. No, like I'm just making it because I want to talk about it. I don't want to hide this anymore. This is something this is just a secret that I've kept from pretty much everyone. The only people that know about this are my parents, my boyfriend, a few of my friends, and you know, previous ex-boyfriends, and my sister. And if you are going through something and you're scared to tell people and you're scared to speak up, I just say go for it because it feels a lot better to get it off your chest than to keep it in. That's what I learned when I told my mom that day about my eating disorder. Is just it felt so much better getting it out. And yes, it's hard and it's uncomfortable and it was awkward and it was really scary, but it's a lot better to feel those feelings than to feel like you're hiding something and you feel alone. So there was a point in time, actually a long point in time, where I couldn't even work out. I couldn't think about eating healthy. I couldn't couldn't do any of it because it would become an obsession. And I would be lying to you if I said that all of my healthy habits, my healthy eating, exercising, that it was all healthy, because it's not fully healthy. I do obsess over it a bit because I do have an eating disorder and I do have OCD, which I do want to make a separate video about that. I do have OCD diagnosed. That's a whole video in itself, but that really correlates with my eating disorder. It's not fully healthy because I do obsess over it, but I know how to manage it so that I'm not gonna say I know how to I do know how to manage it, but not fully. I'm working on it. I know how to work on it, and I know how to get myself on track, and I know what I need to do, and I know how to help myself. And that's the difference between now and then, because back then I couldn't work out because it would become so unhealthy that it would consume my brain. But now it's just more so something I love versus something that's unhealthy. Like I said, I'm just managing it, and I'm trying to work through it, and I'm trying to push through things and allow myself to be strong, do the things I enjoy. I love working out, I love eating healthy, and still do these things and have it be healthy. I'm trying to push through the unhealthy to get to the healthy. So this is where my love for working out and my love for eating healthy comes from, if you're wondering, because I just want to help people to love your body and to love yourself and to be confident and to look at exercise as a positive thing and eating healthy as something that's good for you and just like a passion. I don't know, it just all has stemmed from my eating disorder, and yeah, just living the life that I want to live. It's hard because I have a lot of work to do. I have the rest of my life to go, but I'm okay with that. Like I said, I accept that, and I'm happy that as much as I hate this eating disorder and I hate what it's done to me, I'm also thankful for it because, like I said, I just feel so much stronger, and my love for mental health and for helping people, it all came from this. It all came from the things I've gone through. That's my passion in life. That's my biggest passion, is mental health, and bringing awareness to it and talking about it and making people feel like they're not alone. Like, that's what I think I'm meant to do in life, whether, wherever it may be, whether it's here or being a therapist or being this, being that, I don't know, but at least I'm here and I'm talking about it. And the fact that I'm sitting down right now making this video is like such a huge step for me, and I'm so proud of myself for it. I always say in my videos, you should be proud of yourself for things, and it's okay. It's not being cocky that you're proud of yourself, or it's not like weird to be proud of yourself. It's a good thing, and I'm freaking proud of myself. I have good days, I have bad days, I have terrible weeks where I am so irritable because I'm in a bad place in my mind with my eating disorder, and I think anybody around me can probably pick out those weeks. Actually, last week I had that week. I had a bad week, but I'm still going and I'm still being strong, and that's what's important. This is just something that I have. This is just something that is in my brain, and it's been over a year now since I have thrown up from my eating disorder, so I'm really proud of myself for that. That makes me feel so happy, and I probably left out a million things in this video that I wanted to say, but what the heck, it's hard to make this, and I didn't know what exactly I wanted to say. I just wanted to tell you guys this story and be real and just let it go how it went. So this is something I want to talk about on my channel more, and I'm so happy that I finally am talking about this, because I feel like the only way I can move forward on this YouTube channel or on my social medias or whatever is if this comes out, because it almost doesn't make sense. It's like I switched my channel to health and fitness, but it's like, why did you do that? Like, where did this passion come from? And this is where it came from. So yeah, I just hope that this video or all my videos help someone, like literally in some way, shape, or form. I hope this impacts your life in a positive way, because that's all I've ever wanted. If you're watching this video and you have an eating disorder too, or if you have any mental disorder, just know you're not alone. You're not alone. And please tell someone. Please, please, please let people in. Let people help you. You're not alone. That's really all I want to say in this video. This feels really good to talk about, and now I just have to get the courage to upload it. But I want to keep talking about this, so head over to my Instagram. I talk about body positivity a lot on there, and mental health, and this is something I want to talk about a lot more on there and be just open about things I've gone through with it. And now that it's out, I can finally just feel a sense of, relief and a sense of, okay, now I can actually talk about it without hiding a piece of it. I can actually say things without hiding a piece. So yeah, follow me there if you want, and subscribe too, because a lot more of these videos are coming, and a lot more health and fitness videos are coming, of course, because that is what my channel is now. If you made it to this point in the video, thank you so much for watching. Truly, it means so much to me, and I'm just so happy that I have a place where I can be myself and talk and feel heard and feel like I can help someone. So I'm gonna head out now. I'll see you guys in my next video. Have a great day or night, whatever time it is when you're watching this.